All right, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning into the video. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you enjoy the video, give us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. All right, so today is March 20th, and we're right off into spring now. And I wanted to do a garden update. It's been months since I've done a garden update. Haven't done one yet this year, so I just want to walk through. And like I said, we're full into spring, so a lot of stuff's right about to be coming out, and it's about time to be putting some of the warm weather stuff in. You can see a lot of the vegetables have gone to seed. I've let everything bolt. Gonna try to save a lot of seeds this year just to have a good stockpile. The pepper bed over here is thriving. All these serranos, I'm gonna cut them back just, I think, from the cold, and I haven't fertilized them or anything. They look a little yellow, but there is a lot of peppers coming out of these plants. And my Trinidad Moruga scorpion here is just huge. I might cut it back a little bit too, but it's just constantly making new fruits, if you see, and flowers all over the place. And there's just little young peppers everywhere. Those jokers are hot too. And then the two habaneros, I cut them back real hard before we got the cold weather, and they're still hanging in there. But you got to understand that all these peppers are like 3 years old now. So I'm probably gonna fertilize them, put some compost around the bottom, and they'll bounce right back. Arugula has all gone to seed, and all my lettuces are bolting as well. We've pretty much had record highs almost every single day. And I even let some of this bok choy here go to seed, and I'm gonna try to save those seeds. I've got 2 bok choys there that I let go to seed. Back here, all my onions are looking really good. Started these from seed and got them planted out at the right time. I've got some other onions in another part of the garden that I definitely started way too late, but it's kind of an experiment. Anyway, so 2 varieties of onions here. We've got Grenex onions and we've got some red onions. So there's a couple different varieties. My carrots, they look okay. Let's see. They're not huge, but I'd say that's a pretty decent little carrot there. So the carrots are doing good. We had a hard freeze, and these Royal Burgundy bush beans did get damaged a little bit, but they bounced back. And I mean, if you look down here, there's tons of beans that I need to harvest. Yeah, look at that. And it's like that all around. If you look, there's a lot of beans. And then these elephant garlics, they slowed down in the wintertime. And, we did have some cold weather, but they're really pushing a lot of new growth. And these things are pretty thick at the base. And we still have a few months before those need to be harvested. So all these broccoli plants, I let go to seed. Now these here, I'm not going to lie, I was not a huge fan of how they were turning out, because they weren't giving me big heads of broccoli. They were just giving these little tiny heads of broccoli before they'd bolt. And it's a variety thing. I tried a new variety this year, but I decided let them go to seed. The bees have been loving it. And then also, just in case, things get real bad and we need to grow more food, I literally have, I'm not exaggerating, between all these different plants that have gone to seed, if you see, everywhere, I have tens of thousands of seeds. So, if push comes to shove, there's a lot of food that I can grow. You see, these are all full of seeds. If you look, that's just nothing but seeds. They all fell out. I'll probably have little plants growing now. But back here, I'm about to use a lot of this compost, and then I've got a lot of material to start a new pile. My bananas got hit real hard with the freeze. but it didn't kill the racks that were already there. There's one there, and there's another one back there. I had 2 that I've actually harvested recently. And then there's a lot of green growth coming out of the trees since the hard freeze. So they're doing good. All that's doing good. I pulled my cabbages out, so the plants are still there. I left them. I didn't pull them out, but I harvested the cabbages not that long ago. And then the cauliflower is to a point now where you can see, I don't know if you can see down in there, the little cauliflowers forming. So that's what all this is. As soon as that's ready, I'm gonna yank everything out of there and get the bed probably ready for sweet potatoes. The pigeon peas are just slap full of peas, and then there's more and more flowers all over the whole thing. But if you just kind of pay attention, there's peas everywhere. Surprisingly, the pigeon pea trees didn't get affected by the cold, and it was really cold. But if you look, I mean, it's hard because of the sky in the contrast, but these things are just covered in peas. My mulberry tree here, which there's a great story behind this mulberry tree. I'm not going to tell the whole story in this video, but it's definitely something that I think is interesting that I'll talk about in another video. So make sure you stay tuned if you want to hear the whole story. But this thing, if you look at how long those branches were, this thing was probably 20 feet tall, and I just cut it back, and you can see, in fact, I cut it back so recently that the foliage isn't even dying yet. It's only been a couple days, but you can already see it's starting to push growths, you know, out of the side. So it's good. It's doing good. The guava trees, they're on 2 different kind of schedules. This one to the left is already covered in little guavas. There's one there, 2 there, 2 there, 1 there. That's like 7. So there's a lot of guavas on this tree. You see guava there, guava up there. I'm pretty sure there's a ton. Look, there's 6 or 7 guavas right there. More buds up there that haven't even opened yet. There's a nice looking little guava. More guavas. So this tree's absolutely slap full. This one is just now starting to produce where the little buds are, and they're not even opening up yet, as you can see. So the good thing about that, though, is that you know, while that tree is steadily having fruits get ripened, this one will be shortly behind it. So when this one starts slacking off, I'll still be getting fruits from this one, so I'm not worried about it. If you look, here's some beautiful new flowers that opened this morning. There's 1 there, there's 2 there. Look, there's more up there. I don't know if you could see them. I can see them. But anyways, so that's thriving. And then if you notice this, you'll probably say, like, I didn't know guavas had yellow flowers, and they don't. What it is, and I'll start showing you here, I've got 1 Seminole pumpkin planted in the ground here, right around where that yellow flower is. 1 Seminole pumpkin. It sprawls all this, which is several vines, going all the way over to that edge where my ciduela tree is. And then it grows up. It grows through this tree. It grows up the tree. It comes over to the other tree. And then it loops back down and it's heading that way. But check this out. Hanging Seminole pumpkin. And there's more. I got one growing right there. I got one growing over there. There's several more on that side that I'll show you. Here I've got a mound with some potatoes, some red potatoes. Might be too late, but we're giving it a shot. My tomato plants, they got hit pretty hard in the freeze, but I've still been harvesting a bunch of tomatoes, if you guys have seen those videos. If not, you know, check out the tomato videos. Growing big tomatoes through the winter time in Florida. All the tomato plants you could see looking good, vibrant, lots of young fruit. The star fruit still has a lot of fruit on it, and I probably have 6 fruits in the house that I harvested yesterday. So that's all looking real good. My anon, or sugar apple, did have some damage. It was probably this tall and it got frozen, so I just, you know, cut it back, and it's growing out real well so far. Everglades tomato over here, native to Florida, absolutely booming with fruits. I mean, if you look just in this shot, there's like 5 or 6 clusters, but anywhere you look on this plant, I mean, there's just tomatoes. It's incredible. Check this out. Look, we'll just pan across it. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes everywhere. They don't get very big, real small, but they're delicious. The robust tomato flavor that comes from those tomatoes is insane, because they're only about that big, like the size of a penny or smaller. I tore out most of the Brussels sprouts. We harvested a bunch of Brussels sprouts, 5-6 pounds. It was amazing, super happy about it. There's still 3 more plants in here. You know, they were a little smaller, so I'm letting the sprouts grow a little bit more. And then my mustard is all going to seed. Like I said earlier, we've been having record high temperatures, so the mustard is bolting. About to take them out. I've got one here, and one here. Everything else, well, and there's some broccoli over there that's bolted as well. As you can see, like I said, the bees love it. He's flying around with a huge sack of pollen tucked on his leg. All these different flowers that I've got in here is amazing. Anyways, the red Russian kale is all looking good. It's not bolting. See, look, there's more bees around the Seminole pumpkin flower. It's amazing. And there's more pumpkins too. Here's one. Here's one here. I've got one under there. So we got 6 or 7 pumpkins. This one got pollinated yesterday, so that's a little young pumpkin. Anyways, collards are all looking good, which they'll survive through pretty hot weather. I'm not worried about the collard greens. The dino kale looks good. This broccoli here went to seed and has been blowing around in the wind, probably because it's so heavy, so I need to pull that out of here probably today. Yeah, seedwella froze, but it's coming back, and I'm hoping that there's going to be a bunch of fruits on this thing for the first time. The guava air layers are looking fantastic. It would be sick if they fruited this year, because remember, they are exact clones of those trees. And my peach is really the only thing that I'm concerned with, or like not happy with, I should say, because I've seen some more peach trees in the neighborhood that have already produced leaves and flowers and have little peaches on them. And then I have a good buddy of mine who lives in St. Pete, and his peach trees have all pushed growth, and some of them have flowered, and this thing isn't even pushing growth yet. I mean, I scraped this branch a couple days ago and it's still green, so I know the tree is not dead, but none of these buds have pushed any growth. And it's supposed to be a Florida King, which doesn't need a lot of chill hours, and it's supposed to produce fruit in Florida, and it's supposed to push the growth rather early in the spring, and it hasn't, so I'm a little concerned. So fingers crossed with that. Hopefully it works out. The chickens, they're just enjoying life. This is a little bed that I made. This is what I was going to show you. All these onions, I think I planted them too late. I grew them from seed as well. You know, you see they don't have the girth that the other onions have already. So hopefully, Maybe we could get at least something out of these. I'm gonna plant peppers in here, and then I'm going to use this cage, this high tunnel that I built to keep the chickens in. It's gonna serve multi-purpose. I'm gonna plant different vining vegetables in those blocks. So I'm thinking for now probably cucumbers, and then whenever it gets real hot and the cucumbers come out, I'll probably put in some yard long beans, because they do really well in our summers, and I can just have them trellis over the chicken coop, and it'll give us food, but it'll also provide some afternoon shade for the chickens when the sun is like way up in the sky. So anyways, that's what's going on. I got a ginger in a pot right there that I grew just from a piece of ginger root, kind of keeping it in the filtered sun, part shade from under the guava trees, and it's loving it. So anyways, I want to show you what everything looks like now before I go in there and tear everything out and start putting in summer squashes and beans and everything else. So thank you so much for watching. Hope everybody has a great day.